Mr. Speaker, in our counties. Mr. Speaker, you know we are struggling with the restless and energetic young people who want to exploit and explore their talent. And the only way to enhance the functionality, the issues of talent in our counties, Mr. Speaker, is establishing of sports academies. So, Speaker, yesterday evening I was a bit disappointed after FC Barcelona lost against Inter Milan yesterday by aggregate of 6-7 goals. And I was excited by one of the prolific player called Yamal Lamine, whose roots are from Morocco and Equatorial Guinea, because the mother comes from Equatorial Guinea and the father comes from Morocco. Yamal Lamine performed extremely well yesterday, and to my own opinion, he was the man of the match. And he's only 17 years old. I went and looked at the background of this prolific master, grandmaster of the game, football, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, and I found out that Yamal Lamine studied in a sports academy called La Masia, which the most expensive sports academy in Europe that uses £5 million to run it. And then I went back and I realized that academy has produced one of the best players of all times, the GOAT, greatest of all time, Mr. Speaker, called Lionel Messi. Although so far Yamal Lamine has outpaced pace in terms of performance at that age of 17 years, yesterday he did it, and I would have wished to see him in UEFA finals. And I hope today the Arsenal will not disappoint me when they play with PSG in the evening from 10 p.m. Kenyan time. And most of those players that you see playing on the field, especially for people who are football lovers like me, most of them have gone to academies, sports academies. It is sad, for example, Nandi is declared as the source of sports, source of champions, yet we don't have a functional sports academy or even a stadium. Yet most of the performance, even in North Rift, Cameroon Stadium, talk about stadium in Eldoret, talk about Cherargei Keino Stadium. In fact, the worst that Governor Sang has done is to relocate Cherargei Stadium into some forest. Yet it is the landmark, it is the history and the heritage of athleticism in that region. For example, in North Rift, Mr. Speaker, including Meru and Kisii, we should be having sports academy. I saw one in high altitude called Chakayati in Uasin Gishu County, which is ongoing the construction, Mr. Speaker. We need to have sports academy. Most of the young people, Mr. Speaker, in Nandi depend on sports, especially athletics, and valuable, Mr. Speaker. So we should, in fact, Boni was still here, Kakamega County, they have the best footballers, Vihiga. In fact, we don't need a law to direct counties or to legislate for counties to get opportunity. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, looking at this performance of even the, we like watching European football. You know, the other day, Gor Mahia and Shabana, there was chaos in Gusii Stadium, Mr. Speaker. There is a lot of huge potential. Mr. Speaker, it is sad that most of the potential we see in Kenya Secondary Schools Association sports disappear after Form 4, Mr. Speaker. We need to tap that, even in sports, even in festival, music festivals. Where do the children who are at the top will go after Form 4? Where do the greatest footballers? We thank the one called Kibet that was lucky to join Spanish Academy, and a number, I think 3 after the sports event in Kakamega of secondary schools. Where do our young people go? Mr. Speaker, when you see most of the senators seated here, some of them were greatest footballers during their time. Some of them were great athletes. But because they didn't have an opportunity to be professional athletes or sportsmen and women, they ended up in Senate. Mr. Speaker, some of these people, their calling is totally different. They are working with another calling, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the establishment of sports academies should and must be looked at and ensure counties do these things. Mr. Speaker, sports is a concurrent function. I want to thank His Excellency the President. As I was driving through Ngong Road, you can see Talanta's city stadium is taking shape. And it is what we have seen Kasarani coming up. Mr. Speaker, and the President has committed that at least every county. I am happy Kinoru Stadium in Meru is doing very well, but it needs upgrading, Mr. Speaker, to receive international standards in Kinoru Stadium, Mr. Speaker. We have one in Nyeri. We want to keep Kiprogot Stadium in Kericho, Mr. Speaker, so that our young men and women, the energy that we see in social media that young people are using, most of the young people are using in social media, Mr. Speaker, to write unpalatable things online. They can use the same energy to go and play football, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we must agree that as counties, it is unfortunate that my county, when it was being decided it should be source of champions, but Governor Sang has done it into source of corruption because of lack of even sporting facilities, Mr. Speaker. Even converting our whole facility into a marketplace. Yet Nandi is synonymous with sports, in terms of sports, Mr. Speaker. And this, Mr. Speaker, even the issue of doping and menace that is affecting our young people. We must agree, I want to appeal, because Kenya might be on the red on issues of doping. I want to appeal, Mr. Speaker, to our sportsmen and women and anti-doping agency, ADAC, to be on the lookout and ensure we arrest the issue of doping menace in our country. Even as we establish these sports academies, we must vet the trainers, the coaches, Mr. Speaker. The coaches. Today, Mr. Speaker, in the morning, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Deacon Mike Songkok and a number of deacons and seminarians who are graduating at St. Thomas of Aquinas Seminary in Karen, that was presided over by His Grace Lord Bishop Obala Owa, the Bishop of Ngong Diocese. And he was talking about the formation. You have to agree that the Catholic Church has a unique way of doing formation of their priests, their sisters, their brothers in the brotherhood, Mr. Speaker. And he was talking about the vetting of the formators. They are called the trainers. So they must be people who are beyond reproach. There are people who are teaching the doctrine of the church. For example, he was using the Catholic Church, Mr. Speaker, that was being presided today by Bishop Owa of Ngong Diocese, Mr. Speaker. The same thing with the vetting of our sports academies. Mr. Speaker, are you aware some people working through tourist visa, through JKI, 2 weeks later, they are training at least in Iten. In Iten. Mr. Speaker, which country are we? In fact, Tanzania today, if you walk to Tanzania and you don't have a visa, you will never finish 2 hours before being deported. But Kenya, somebody lands in JKI as a tourist, he goes to Iten, he goes to Nandils, he goes to Kaptagat and start training. And at the end of the day, making sure that they promote doping, Mr. Speaker. Even here in Nakuru, somewhere in Keringet, the training high altitude areas, Mr. Speaker. It is very unfortunate. The government and the anti-doping agents must come out strongly, Mr. Speaker, and ensure. Mr. Speaker, secondly, and therefore, I want to agree with, and I'm happy Senator Kisang is in the House, because I know he suffers most, especially with trainers that are not appropriately trained and fitted, Mr. Speaker. Even on the issue of hardship allowance, Mr. Speaker, I don't allow hardship allowance to be removed. Even in Nandi, we want places like Terik Ward, like Kapchorwa, like Soba Songo, Mr. Speaker, to be put, and even Chepterwa as part of the hardship allowances for teachers and civil servants. Even in Bomet, areas like Chepalungu, Mr. Speaker, where you come from, they must be given hardship allowance. That comment was made in bad faith by the CS of Education. He must retract, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, finally, as I finish to second, I saw the Deputy Minority Whip today in the House saying that there is no broad-based government. We have a broad-based government. This broad-based government has brought equity and equality in terms of service provision under President William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, Mr. Speaker. And it is unfortunate that Senator Sifuna can use the floor of the House, yet he was the Secretary General of ODM that we went and signed in the KICC, Mr. Speaker, and signed broad-based government, Mr. Speaker. If he has a problem with CSOPO and I, if he has a problem with John Mbadi, those are political differences that they should do in funerals and rallies during the weekend. He should not, and he should respect the president, Mr. Speaker. And you saw Senator Oburu Odinga spoke eloquently and powerfully before President Ruto in Migori and said that the ODM and UDA are working through broad-based arrangement, including establishing of sports academies in our counties, Mr. Speaker, where the audacity of lecturing and saying there is no broad-based government, Mr. Speaker. If he wants to leave ODM, Mr. Speaker, and if you want to know what Raila thinks, listen to Senator Oburu. If you want to read the body language of Raila Odinga, listen to John Mbadi, Mr. Speaker. It is very critical, Mr. Speaker. I'm making a very pregnant point. Can you add me 1 minute so that I can conclude by seconding, Mr. Speaker? So if you can see at those body languages of Oburu, of Mbadi, of Junaid Mohammed, if you see Junaid Mohammed speaking, no Raila is speaking. I'm warning Senator Sifuna to tread very carefully. His future in ODM looks bleak. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to second.
Honorable Senators, I now propose the question that the Sports Amendment number 2, Bill, Senate Bills number 45 of 2024 be now read a second time. I will allow Senator Kisang